Hi, welcome to the Red Sauce Podcast with Papa Joe, where we talk about anything and everything Italian and Italian-American. I'm your host, Papa Joe, Il Capo Vinaio, or the former Il Capo Vinaio. And Il Stugazzo di Tutti Stugazzi, I still have that title, at Papa Joe's Wine Cellar. Joining me are my daughters, Katie.
Hello.
La Capovinaya and student of the Italian language and culture, and Beth. She's our financial advisor. We like to call her our consigliere. Winemaker. She still helps us with making the wine. She still sells them too. And gangster aficionado and the number one pit fan in the whole fucking world.
And wine drinker.
Yeah. New episodes.
You're not number one wine drinker.
New episodes drop bi-weekly, but we're going to try to increase that to weekly soon. We'll see how that works out. So anyway, today we're going to talk about a couple things that are near and dear to our hearts. Italians, naturally, that's what we do here. And sports figures, or more accurately, Italian sports figures. Who wants to get the ball rolling? You want me to?
Yeah, Dad, how do you become a Yankees fan?
Yeah, that's, I think, how we started here. The Italians, as you know, are proud people. And back in the 40s and 50s, before I was around, the 30s too, a lot of Italian Americans from all over the country were Yankee fans, and there was really only one reason for that, is because the Yankees had a lot of Italians on the team. And that's why I grew up a Yankee fan, because my dad and my uncle were huge Yankee fans. I mean, they go back to the days of Joe DiMaggio, Phil Rizzuto. Holy cow!
Yogi Berra.
The guy I think that Columbus Day should be renamed after, but that's a different story. We'll get into that a little bit. And that was back in the golden days of Italian-American sports. There aren't quite as many today as there were back in the old days. And I think that kind of goes along with...
What, Italian Yankees?
Italian sports heroes. Not like there were before.
Not like that. Not first generation Italian Americans.
Yeah, and the reason for that is that basically we've gotten a little bit too comfortable. To really get into sports and really live and die it, you have to be a little bit hungry. And as we get a little bit more financially independent, financially comfortable.
A little more assimilated?
Yeah, I do think a little more assimilated. I do think that there's less, we're going into some of the professions more and the trades and that kind of thing, where really the only way out of the Italian slums in the 30s was probably to be a baseball player. Kind of back in the 30s and 40s, if you were an Italian American, I mean, they lived in their own neighborhoods.
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
What you're saying was sports was the way out of the poorer conditions they had.
Yeah.
And now Italians aren't in that position as much anymore.
They have other avenues now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a natural progression of things. So anyway, let's start talking. I think it's probably most appropriate if we talk about Mr. Italian American Yogi Berra.
Okay.
I've said for a long time that they should rename Columbus Day Yogi Berra Day, because Yogi is everything that the Italian Americans were and still are to some extent, but probably more so were. I mean, he was a great guy. Nobody had a bad word to say about him. He really, if you looked at his physical attributes, he didn't look like anything special. But damn, that guy could hit a baseball, and that guy could catch, and he played outfield in the later years, and he excelled at that. Even a little bit of first base, I think he played. But Yogi was my hero at one point in time, before Joe Pepitone.
I have a Yogi jersey.
Yeah. But he was all that at least the Italian Americans in my generation and my dad's generation, that's all we aspired to be, is somebody just like Yogi, just a great guy, a great player, and everybody loved him.
Beth, do you know the story of how he got the name Yogi?
Nope.
Dad, do you?
No.
I did, but I don't remember it.
Is it because of Yogi Bear?
No, Yogi Bear got his name from Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was something about they told him he looked like a yogi or something like.
Oh, okay.
Like they saw, I don't know. I'll have to look up the story and bring it
Yeah.
up later. But
Okay.
it was something like they told him he looked like he belonged in like a Buddhist temple or something. And
I mean, he was short. He had short legs and a really long trunk, and he was kind of really awkward looking.
so yogis are awkward looking.
I don't know, but he was. I mean, he was a little awkward looking, but Ben, like I said,
He was
man,
the
that guy
cutest
could
little old man, though.
Yeah, I know he was.
He really was.
Yeah.
Every time I saw him on TV at Old Timer Day, like I loved that. He was the cutest.
And he loved Derek Jeter.
He did love Derek
He did
Jeter.
love Derek
Who didn't?
Jeter a lot. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're talking to Beth. Beth's loved Derek Jeter since she was 5.
Yeah. But even before Yogi's days, the Yankees had a lot of Italian Americans. Joe DiMaggio, who, if you talk to an Italian in my dad's age group, they'll tell you he was the best player that ever lived. And they'll
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Well, he right there is the embodiment of the Italian American dream.
Yeah,
His dad was a poor fisherman
yeah,
in San Francisco?
yep,
And he was what they hoped their kids would become.
yeah,
Like that was the success story that Italian immigrants wanted for their children.
yeah,
And that's a big thing.
yeah. And he also was a Sicilian, which is with a probably was that the most common?
At the time, I believe it was the most common for immigration, but it's all between it's Abruzzese, it's Calabrese, like all of those.
Sicilians, yeah,
Yeah, and Campania too, but
yeah,
Sicilian, I think at the time was the most popular
Yeah.
place to leave.
Well, they were the poor parts of Italy and
Yeah.
the original parts of Italy as well. And also they had Phil Rizzuto, who played for the Yankees about the same time in the 40s and 50s. He became an announcer. He was known for "Holy cow," like like George Costanza's keychain.
On the Seinfeld episode when he drops it in the pothole,
Yeah,
and then they cover it, and
Yep.
then the cars keep running over it. Holy, holy
they
cow!
called him Scooter.
Why?
He was a small guy. He was fast. He was a shortstop. They called him Scooter. I can't remember exactly why, but they called him Scooter.
I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense.
yeah.
Dad, let's talk about your favorite Yankee.
Oh man, Joe Pepitone.
What do you remember? Like, why was he your favorite?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why. When I was 10 years old, played in Little League. I was a first baseman, and because I was left-handed, if I was playing in the infield, that's where I had more or less how to play. Because lefties didn't play third, short, or second. But I was a first baseman, and I liked the Yankees. Joe Pepitone was the first baseman for the Yankees. I love Joe Pepitone. The weird thing about Joe Pepitone is the guy was a few bricks short of a load. Probably actually more than a few bricks short of a load.
Didn't he get arrested with like 300 Quaaludes or something in
Yeah,
his car?
and he did coke and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was really when he was with the Yankees. I mean, this guy early in his career was a star.
Oh, what's that line from Bronx Tale about wasted talent or something?
Worst thing in the world is wasted talent.
Yep.
There you go.
And he was wasted talent. I mean, this guy, I swear this guy could have been a Hall of Famer if he didn't go out and drink all the time and do drugs and all that other kind of shit.
Yeah, but I
Actually,
mean,
I think it's the saddest thing in the world.
that's it.
Yeah.
But that worked for some people. Who's the? It wasn't Ken Stabler. Was it that used to drink like a shitload before he played games?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one they said read the playbook by the light of the jukebox?
Could be.
I think it was him.
So it works for some people.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, Mickey Mantle was that way too.
Yeah.
I mean, he used to show up. Hungover, but some people could do it. Some people couldn't. Joe Pepitone was an extremist. I mean, he hung out with Frank Sinatra. And actually, the funny thing about Sinatra liked him because he was one. Everybody kissed Frank's ass. You know that, right? All his friends.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody kissed Frank's ass. Well, Joe Pepitone would not kiss his ass.
Oh, so he liked him because he was
liked
real.
him. Yeah, because he just said he wasn't intimidated by him like the rest of his friends were. And I forget what he did. Something I think he broke up a pool table at Frank Sinatra's house one time or something like that. But I mean, he had his problems. And then, so in the early '60s or mid '60s, I mean, he was my favorite player. And then after a couple of years, he just didn't take it seriously. They traded him to the Cubs. Mm-hmm. And what I'll never forget about Joe.
So that was his downfall.
Yeah. What I'll never forget about Joe Pepitone is he was a balding guy like me, but young and balding, and he had these big ass wigs, and he used to. And one time during an all-star game, he wasn't an all-star at the time. He was playing for the Chicago Cubs at the time because the Yankees traded him because he just wasn't doing anything after a few years. And he did a demonstration on a hairdryer.
Oh, God.
And he was drying his wigs, his big-ass wigs, and he's talking about, how it poofs it up, and this is a really good look. So that's what happened to Joe Pepitone.
You never saw that?
I haven't, no.
But I still liked him. And, the girls will tell you that I've always said that I would never wear anybody else's name on the back of my jersey until they wore my name on theirs.
Yeah.
I made an exception in Joe Pepitone's case.
Yeah.
I do have a Joe Pepitone shirt, and I'll tell you, I had a Joe Pepitone shirt before Larry David did. Simple as that. So Larry David, you got that from me, asshole.
Yeah, but he got one for JB Smoove, too, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You didn't do that.
JB Smooth's funny as hell, isn't he?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, one of the funniest guys alive.
Leon.
So anyway,
We got some current Yankees, too.
yeah, a few.
I mean, Anthony Rizzo?
Anthony Rizzo.
Anthony Volpe.
Yeah. Cervelli no longer, but he was there for a while. Dad and I were talking today about whether or not he counts as an Italian-American because he's technically Italian-Venezuelan, but he plays
Yes.
American sports. Like, we didn't know if Dad said without a doubt you include him on this list. I was like, does that count?
Did anybody do research? How Italian is Anthony Rizzo?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying,
He might be a quarter. You don't know.
yeah.
He might be, but that still counts, doesn't it?
It does, but
For your sake, it better count.
I'm just saying.
Yep. Okay.
Put him on the Italian-American list.
Who else do we have?
Anthony Volpe allegedly fixed his swing over chicken parmesan.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
They said that the hitting coach didn't fix his swing, and he didn't fix his swing, and he didn't fix his swing. And then Anthony Volpe came out one day and said that he fixed his swing. He was talking to one of his friends that was in Little League, and they were eating chicken parmesan, and his friend that played Little League with him said, "You're doing this when you should be doing this." And he said he fixed his swing over chicken parmesan.
That is the most Italian thing I've ever heard
That's
in my
right
life.
before the hitting coach got fired.
It is right before the hitting coach got fired. It's
Legit?
right before my favorite show, Carton and Roberts, ended, and Craig Carton was like, if they fixed his swing over chicken parmesan, they're overpaying their hitting coach. And then like a week
And then
later he was
he
Yeah,
back.
yeah, it was right
It was
after
the
that.
chicken parmesan or it was the hitting coach.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Okay.
I think, did we cover pretty much all we wanted to
but,
with the
you
Yankees?
know, I think we should give a shout out to one guy because he's really one of the best, is Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
He was never a Yankee, and we're Yankee fans, but he was a Met. And Piazza was a great player.
And a great name for a restaurant.
And a great name, yeah, for a restaurant.
I had so many people that when I told them the name of our restaurant, they're like Mike Piazza? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly
So
it.
I got
Don't-
to the point where I would just say, like Mike Piazza.
So people would stop calling us Pizza Talarico?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one other guy I got to give a shout out, a guy from my childhood who played for the Red Sox. Don't hold that against him. This guy was really good. Tony Canigliaro. Tony was a outfielder for Boston. He was a great player. He's another guy that could have been a Hall of Famer, but he got hit in the face with a ball and detached his retina, and he was never the same. The guy was a 350 hitter regularly, and then all of a sudden after that, he just never got back to it.
God, that sounds awful. That sounds so
unfortunately-
painful.
Unfortunately, the guy died in his mid-40s of a heart attack too, so he didn't really live too long. It's a really sad story about him, but he was a great. He
Yeah.
would have been. Yeah. Okay, so what do we want?
You
to
know
get into
Tim
now?
Wakefield died?
No.
Tim
Oh
Wakefield
yeah,
died.
I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's
like
right.
2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
but that just, you said the Red Sox, and it just reminded me. Because I was in Missouri.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys want to start with football?
I guess.
So, I mean, we got to go with pro football. And if you're going with pro football,
You're going to go with who the Super Bowl trophy's named after?
damn right,
Vince Lombardi.
Yep.
Vince Lombardi.
You know, all you Steeler fans think you're hot shit because you won 6 Super Bowls. It's named after our coach, And we also have more championships than you.
That's
So
right. You know, just because they changed the name of it doesn't mean that history started on that day.
13-time world
I
champions.
pissed CJ off
Yeah.
so badly one day because
I piss everybody off.
Well,
It's true.
The Packers have 13, right?
exactly
13.
yeah.
13.
Well, that was the funny thing. So CJ was
The Browns were good before the Steelers, y'all.
Oh, now you're just playing with fire, man.
I'm not playing with fire. It's true.
So there was one day CJ was back in the dish pit at Piazza, and I was talking to him, and we were fighting about football. And he goes, Steelers have more Super Bowls than anybody. I go, we have more championships. He goes, that doesn't count. I said, CJ, I got to ask you a question. If they rename it tomorrow and it's no longer the Super Bowl, do you guys start over? He goes, well, no. I was like, so why do you think mine don't count?
It's the only argument that counts.
And he got so mad at me. He's like, ugh, and he just like didn't have anything to say. He's like, I guess you're right. But he didn't want to admit it.
So anyway, we're talking about Vince Lombardi, and I think it gets us back to why we're.
No, we're not. We're talking about C.J. Patterson.
Yeah, we're talking. Well, CJ. I mean, he's as good as Vince Lombardi.
All right.
He's got a better suntan, but he's as good as Vince Lombardi. CJ's African American. He worked with us in the restaurant for a while. Great guy, one of our best friends. But anyway, but he's not really Italian American, is he? I don't think so.
CJ?
CJ.
He's close.
He might be.
He's close. I mean, you know, I've always.
The hell do you know?
I've always said that our culture is a lot like theirs. So
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot in common with the guy. But anyway, getting back to why we're all Packer fans.
Vince Lombardi.
It was 1961, the NFL championship game, and my dad and my uncle were New York Giants fans. Now, I don't know why they were New York Giants fans. I mean, the best I could think was because
Maybe it went hand in hand with the Yankees.
I think it did because the Giants didn't have any Italian Americans on their team.
But I'm
Or
just
not
thinking
many.
like they had that New York pride.
They had that New York thing going, so they were
yeah.
Giants.
It was
fans.
always, for the most part, I've picked up it's Mets, Jets, Nets, and Islanders.
Yeah.
Yankees, Giants, Rangers. Who am I missing?
Knicks.
Yes.
Okay.
That tends to be what it is. I don't know why.
I don't either, but like if I were to pick between all of those teams, I would definitely side towards all of the other ones.
I think I would too.
Yeah. Like
Yankees,
I've always
Giants,
really liked the Rangers.
Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Giants aren't even from New York anymore.
No, neither are the
They're
Jets.
Huh? Yeah.
Neither are the Jets, Dad.
Yeah.
Buffalo's the only
Buffalo
New York
is
team.
New York's team.
Buffalo is New York's team. Anyway, 1961.
1961 NFL championship. Frank and Sam Talarico, my dad and my uncle, were big Giants fans. I was 5 or 6 years old at the
You would have
time.
been about 6.
I
yeah.
would have. I probably was going to just turn 6. Okay, and they were playing the Packers in the NFL championship game, not the Super Bowl, but it was the Super Bowl back then. No doubt about it. It was meant every bit as much. It was the NFL
No
championship
doubt about
game.
it.
No doubt about it. A doozy says that.
Yeah, we'll
right?
get to him.
Yeah, we'll get to him.
We'll get to those pick guys.
But anyway, so what happened was I decided my brother was for the Giants, my cousin Tom was for the Giants. They were all for the Giants. My cousin Rick, don't think he followed sports too much, but I think he was for the Giants too. And we were at my grandma's house, my grandma Talarico. We were having our Sunday dinner, and the NFL championship game was on. So I decided that all these asshole Giant fans, that there was going to be one little asshole Packer fan. So I was a 6-year-old little asshole that decided to be for the other team. The other team that just happened to have a coach who was an Italian American, Vince Lombardi, probably the only Italian American on the field at the time. But I can't remember any for the Giants, but certainly can't remember any for the Packers, because I mean he didn't even know where the hell Green Bay was when he went there. I was the second year as a coach. Well, the Packers beat him 37-0. Ever since then, I've been a Packer fan, and then I brought these two up as Packer fans. The boys didn't get it, but the girls did.
Tony tried.
Tony tried.
Yeah.
Tony tried, but he always had his Buffalo lean.
Tony tried after the Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah.
He went on a football strike.
But then he felt like he was betraying them, which
He
is
was
funny.
a born-again Packer fan, and then he just couldn't get into it because we were good. and he wasn't used to it.
You know what's really funny? So I don't know if you guys remember this. Zach would have been probably like 3 or 4, and we were watching the Olympics, and it was Canada versus United States.
It was at Sam and Mary Jo's at Easter.
It was Easter, Sam and Mary Jo's.
Easter? Yeah.
No, it was somewhere in there.
I think it was Easter.
I don't know. It was Winter Olympics, so it would have had to been somewhere before that.
Okay.
Anyway,
New Year's Day.
maybe.
Sure.
But all I could think of was Zach being just like you, because everybody else was obviously for the United States, even though Sidney Crosby was captain of Team Canada. And Zach is sitting there, everyone else is chanting USA, and he goes, "Boo SA, boo SA." And all I could think of was, this is the makings of Dad.
Yeah.
Like, this is Dad as a child. This is Zach's gonna be Team Canada for the rest of his life. But I was wrong because he doesn't like sports.
Maple Marino.
Yep.
Well,
But anyway, Vince Lombardi was, he was a typical old Italian American. I mean, this guy, he really could be kind of an asshole.
I liked his hat.
But he was a disciplinarian. I don't know that he'd be a great football coach today.
Oh, probably not.
I mean, because he intimidated people. I mean, he intimidated big ass 300-pound offensive linemen were intimidated by this guy.
No, if people don't like it today, they just ask to be traded.
Yeah. So I don't know that
Transfer portal.
But he was a really successful coach.
You know what? I have a feeling, sorry to interrupt you, I have a feeling he's much like Bill Belichick was.
Yeah.
Because everybody always talked about the Patriot way and how you either liked it or you didn't.
Yeah.
But when they had Tom Brady and they were winning, nobody cared.
Right.
Nobody said anything. And now Bill Belichick's probably not going to make it to the end of the season, at least as their GM, because he is also their GM.
Yeah.
So he's not going to make it to the end of the season as their GM. And when they take his GM rights away, he's probably going to say, fuck this.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to say, either retire or we're going to move on, quote unquote. But I have a feeling
But who's going to wear the short-sleeved hoodies?
But I have a feeling that that's the way coaches were back then, but nobody knows because you didn't have these wonderful devices.
They were that way back then. And
Yeah,
he was.
Social
but
media
anyway,
changes
but
everything.
he was really successful at the time. I mean, with the Packers, he won. He won a few NFL championships, and then he won the first 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
And then he quit and went to the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
And brought them up there, from in no time at all. And unfortunately, he died young.
It was because he wouldn't get a colonoscopy.
Yeah, because he wouldn't get a colonoscopy. He said, nobody's shoving a tube up my ass. And he died of colon cancer. So, I mean, that was, but the old Italians, I mean, you wouldn't believe the trouble I had with your grandfather trying to get him to get a colonoscopy in his 60s.
And meanwhile, you're doing it without anesthesia.
Well, yeah, but then they found polyps.
Oh,
He couldn't thank me enough. He said, "You saved my life. You saved my life." I said, "No, I didn't save your life." But I mean, in the 60s, they found polyps. He lived another 20 years. But he really didn't want it. But he did. But they were doing an upper scope too, and he said, "Just make sure that they." Or I said, "Don't worry about it, Dad. They'll do the upper before the lower." He said, "Well, how about the last guy?"
Oh, Jesus. You and Grandpa had the same sense of humor.
I know. That's what we did. But
and now Joey has it, and Zach's getting it, and oh my God. This
Addison has it.
Oh my God. You and I definitely have it. Oh, this family's so...
Okay, so let's move on to maybe the greatest quarterback of all time, Joe Montana. Another Italian.
Dan Marino.
Dan
That's
Marino,
where I was going to.
Huh?
That's exactly where I was
I said that on purpose.
Just because he didn't win the Super Bowl doesn't mean he's...
No. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'm
and
not
out.
one to say somebody's...
Up and out.
I'm not somebody to say anybody's the greatest of all time because it's really impossible to...
Because it's probably Tom Brady, let's be real.
It probably is, but at the same time, how
Maybe
can...
not.
Tom Brady is not the most talented quarterback I've ever watched in my life.
But
though.
here's the thing. How can you tell when the game is so much different than it used to be?
Yeah, but...
Yeah. But Brady wasn't Italian, so he couldn't be the greatest of all
that's
time.
very
Exactly.
true.
It's got to be either Montana or Marino.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is...
Or Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Grandpa Frank, he never liked the Dolphins, but he always liked Dan Marino. I wonder why.
I
Me
wonder
too.
why.
And it wasn't because he was from Pittsburgh either.
No, because Grandpa was not a Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah.
Grandpa's favorite football team, sorry to all you Steelers fans out there, my grandpa lived in Erie. his favorite football team was whoever was playing the Steelers each week.
After the Packers beat the shit out of them, out of the
Yes.
Giants on.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but then in his later years, he really
He
did.
watched the Eagles for a while, though.
But he watched everybody.
He watched the Packers with us every Sunday.
He did watch the Packers
He
with
liked
us.
the game, and
Yeah.
he really didn't have a favorite team except for who's playing the Steelers. I mean,
That's
he
exactly what it
No,
was.
I asked
It
him
was
on multiple
literally-
occasions who his favorite team was, and I
He
mean,
always said
he would always say it's whoever's playing the Steelers, but then like he would actually like talk to me about it, and you know what, I like this team this year.
But he
He wasn't like
Yeah.
But
He
really-
just enjoyed the game.
He really got into the games. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I saw him do once when he was probably in his 40s. When I was a little kid,
Yeah, I've heard this. I love this.
he was watching a game and something really excited happens. He gets up, he jumps, he hits his head on the ceiling. 8-foot tall ceiling. I mean, this guy was 6 feet tall. I mean, so he was an athlete.
You know what?
He had a little bit of a vertical jump.
Do you remember the Super Bowl, the Packers and Steelers Super Bowl, when you were in your recliner, probably 10 feet away from the TV?
Yeah.
And at one point, you got so into the play that you grabbed your chair by each arm, pulled it forward, and got close to the TV. And then 2 minutes later, you look around, you go, "How'd I get here?"
I know. I get that way. Runs in the family.
You had no idea that you had moved an entire freaking recliner.
Randall Cobb will do that to
But,
you.
you know,
Yeah.
But getting back to Marino, I would not argue with anybody who said he was the greatest of all time, because that guy could pass a ball.
And you know what?
Huh.
He was a damn good actor in Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Laces out, Dan.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So anyway, staying in the football. Who else do we have here? We got Steve Mariucci. Steve was a coach. He was a very good coach for 49ers when they had a little dynasty thing going on there. He also played, but I think he never played beyond the college level.
Teddy Bruschi was a great.
Teddy Bruschi was a good one, even though he played for the
We won't hold that against him.
most of his life for the Patriots. But
Yeah,
he
we
was
won't
very
hold that
good.
against him.
Adam Vinatieri, who played for 172 years.
Seriously,
for the
primarily
Colts
for the was it just the Colts and the Patriots, or
I think
But
that's
just-
it.
yes.
okay.
I think he was with the Patriots.
Yeah.
he
for
was with the
years, and then
Patriots forever.
Because you know he
Yeah.
actually was a rookie the year the Packers beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, which was '96.
Probably, yeah. And he played till 2019, I think.
It was the
Yeah.
'96 season. It was the '97 Super Bowl, or the '97 season, '98 Super Bowl. I can't
Yeah.
remember which one. But he was a rookie, and he played until 2021. Is that right?
Yeah.
he played for a
No,
long.
I looked it up today. 2019. He played till 2019.
Oh, wait, where is he even at?
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you just have '90s.
So being from Pittsburgh, we gotta give the local guys a little bit of a shout
A
out.
little bit.
Go ahead, guys.
A little bit.
Go ahead, Bethy.
What am I doing?
The Sinceres.
Oh,
Oh wait. No, we were still with pro football, Dad.
Okay.
Pro football. If we're going local, we got to talk about Franco Harris.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
And
right.
now, for the longest time, I thought he was Irish when I
yeah.
was a
Katie thought his
child.
name was
Yeah.
O'Harris.
When I was little, like up to 10 years old, I thought his name was Frank O'Harris.
Wasn't he like one of the best dudes on the planet?
Yes, he really was. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I mean, he was just.
He really seemed like it.
Oh no, he was. He was really just a wonderful guy. I had never met him, but living in Pittsburgh for a long time.
Oh, you
hearing-
hear stories.
I mean, and the stories. I mean, this is another
Consistent.
guy. This is like Yogi Berra. This is a guy that nobody had anything bad to say about. Wonderful,
Right.
great guy. And it's kind of funny because I've talked about the old Italians that really weren't crazy about the African Americans. A lot of them, but they liked Franco Harris. I mean, he was half Sicilian and half black, and most of them loved him. Franco's Italian army.
You know what? He made him proud.
He did.
He made him
Yeah.
proud.
Yep.
Another, well, I guess this would be pro and also college, but Tony Siragusa.
Yep.
Goose.
Another cool guy.
Yeah.
Died too young, but
Yeah.
very, very good guy. Pitt player.
Yep.
Then Colts and Ravens in the pros.
They just did a 30 for 30 on the 2000 Ravens. Is that the year that they won the Super Bowl?
Could be.
With Brian Billick was
Yeah.
their coach, and they had Ray Lewis. Like, it was like one of the, like, not to take anything away from the Steelers in the 70s, like that that Ravens defense is considered to be the best NFL defense of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, they just like didn't give up points.
Again, though, how can you say that when the
You
game
can't.
has changed so much?
You
can't,
can't,
'cause,
but
yeah, it's
but
different.
it also like I feel like the further into football we go, the better offenses tend to get.
True.
So
what I'm saying is
it might even be more impressive that in the 2000s, I mean, these dudes were not giving up points.
Right.
They had Ray Lewis, Shannon Sharp, Tony Siragusa. Who else was on that team? It was ridiculous.
The other Ray. What the hell was his name?
What?
Wasn't there 2 Rays on that team?
There was 2 Lewises, Ray and Jamal. Jamal was a running back,
That's what I'm thinking.
but I'll think of more. But anyway, I mean, that's like one of the greatest defenses of all time. Just sorry, Pittsburgh fans.
We are just upsetting people left
They'll be
and right
fine.
in this video.
They'll
or
be
in
fine.
This
Yeah.
podcast.
The goose went to Pitt. I don't care.
We were assholes.
Yeah, well, people know that, and they, for some reason, still listen to us. Let's mention my favorite of the current players, and this is entirely because of how good-looking he is, Jimmy Garoppolo. That man is the best-looking man in the world. That is my, yeah,
In the world,
I believe that.
I mean, how could you sit next to me and say that?
yeah, you're fucking rude.
on.
Because that would be disgusting, and
You can't admit that your dad's a good-looking person.
I can admit that my dad's a good-looking
No.
dude, but I can't call him the best-looking man in the
That's
world.
right, you can't.
That would be
That's-
weird.
that's
He
true.
might be the most
That would
interesting
be-
man in the world.
He's definitely the most interesting man in the world.
I don't
Defi-
know about that, but
A lot of people, Dad, do you know how many people come up to me and say how that you should have a fucking reality show?
yeah,
you
I know. I know.
Don't.
Please don't, because but
You know
but
what?
anyway, Jimmy Garoppolo, I love him. He's
If
so
I had a
good-looking.
reality show, it would take all I could do to quit getting like Buddy, the cake boss.
Oh, playing into stereotypes?
Yeah, I mean he plays it too hard.
In the later years, yeah, but
Yeah,
I
early
don't
on
think
it
you
was
would do
nice.
that though.
Huh?
I don't think you would play. I think you would, Dad. I
Maybe
think
not.
you would be. You would be.
Yeah.
You would absolutely be authentically you the entire
Yeah, okay.
time. But I think they would have to cut a lot of stuff.
You know, the weird thing is I don't think I'm a few bricks short of a load. I think I'm totally normal. And everybody else says, you're hilarious. I said, what? It's just what I am. I mean, to me, it's normal. I mean, because I do these.
I was born this way, bitch.
Yeah,
Beth,
I
we
do
were-
these short videos.
we
and
were
I
at a
think
fall
it's not
fest.
funny, and everybody else is laughing.
We were at a fall fest a couple weeks ago and met some other winery owners, and they came back up to us and they had looked us up on Facebook, and they were watching the video of Dad where he crawled in the tank to wash it, and the woman said, "You're funny." She goes, "I was just watching your videos. You're funny." I was like, "Yeah, he knows."
Which means they're not laughing with me; they're laughing at me, right?
Whatever you want to.
Not necessarily.
Huh?
Not necessarily.
No, Dad. If you're laughing along with them, it's fine.
But I'm not laughing. Okay.
You're laughing. Look at that smile on your face.
All
You're
right.
fucking laughing.
All right.
All right, on to pit football.
I'm buying everybody, not me, you two. I'm going to buy you guys the fucking headphones with the microphone thing.
Okay.
I just hear gaps every.
Have I been moving too
You
much?
guys go like this.
You know, in my case, I think you're right.
Mine
My
hasn't
head-
been that-
I'm all
No,
over the
we're all.
place.
You know what? I'll get it too. Moral support. We're all
Okay.
getting the fucking.
We're getting Gwen Stefani mics.
Let's go.
All right.
That's what they called them on Gilmore Girls. Gwen
Yeah.
Stefani mics. No, let's talk about pit football. Beth, where do you want to start? This is your discussion now.
Well, let's start with the series because we know some of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Well, you have the ones that I've never met in person on here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
they're the ones that are.
Well, you met Tino.
Did
Maybe
I?
you haven't.
I don't think I ever met Tino.
But anyway, this is an old Pittsburgh family. From, you know that we know them from the Strip. A few of them, and they.
We know two of the brothers,
Yeah.
and they're our favorite people.
Jimmy and Nino.
Love them.
And Sal's their brother, right?
Yep.
And
Who's-
is he still with Alabama?
No.
Is he with Coach Prime
He's with
these
Coach
days?
Prime.
He's with Coach
Is he
Prime.
really?
That's what
Holy
Jimmy told me.
shit.
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
sitting at Bellanote with Jimmy one day, and I was like, "Oh, how's your brother?" I was like, "He's still at Alabama, right?" And he goes, "No, he went with Coach Prime." I'm like, "Oh shit." Okay.
But yeah, Sal has been coaching for a long time.
He's
and
been around.
He's been with Alabama. He was with who else?
Well, that's maybe
Tennessee.
Yeah, he's been with a lot of the big dogs.
Yeah, maybe that's
around
why
the
all of a
horn.
sudden Saban's losing and Coach Prime is winning games he shouldn't.
It's all that
Yeah,
sincerity.
Coach
Yep.
Prime kind of cooled off a little bit.
Huh?
Just
Coach Prime cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
Where's Tino coaching these days? Do we know? Has Jimmy told us anything about that?
James Madison.
Is that where he is? Cool.
I think he's like the offensive coordinator or the quarterbacks coach.
Cool.
I will be
Vinny-
honest. I have a Tino Sinceri jersey, and I used to every time somebody would say something about, "Oh, you got a Tino jersey," I'm like, "Yeah," but my favorite Sinceri is Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like every time somebody would say something, I'm like, "My favorite Sinceri."
Well, what
is
if
Jimmy."
Nino's my favorite?
Well,
It's hard to pick a favorite
I
out
can't-
of those.
I can't pick
well,
those two.
but the thing
two
is,
of the
back
greatest guys
then,
in the history of the world.
back then I was much closer to Jimmy because I was giving him coffee
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Now I'm close to both of them, but
Yeah, two of the nicest guys in history.
They're awesome.
They really are.
they're the best.
And I'm sure that their brothers are the same. I would bet. I don't know them, but I would bet they're the same. And so anyway, let's get into our favorite Italian-American football coach.
Is it Pat Narduzzi?
You think?
It might be.
What do you love about Pat Narduzzi, Beth?
Well, everything. He's supportive of us, first of
Yeah.
all.
He has been hugely supportive of us.
So,
He showed up right at the end of Piazza Talarico with a football helmet for you.
yep. People can say what they want about him. I won't listen to you, but that's my choice.
Oh, he's the best.
And you
He's
know what?
such a nice guy.
Yeah, he's and he doesn't care either. I mean, people can say what they want
Well,
about
that's
him.
the thing. Like people say, they'll say he's like arrogant and like, he comes across that way maybe to some people on TV. But when you meet him in person, like the first time he came into our restaurant, he was so quiet, but he was so polite and he asked me flat out, like I was out front and you were in the kitchen, and he said, "Katie, what's your favorite thing on the menu?" And I said, "My favorite thing has to be the baked macaroni." He goes, "Tell me about this."
Yeah, he's just very genuine. He cares
Yeah.
about what's going on.
Well, and he every time he came in got the baked macaroni after that.
He's one of those people. He's kind of like, you know who I would compare him to? And I'll say the person at the end, but like he's one of those people that anything he does, he's all in. Whether he's coaching football, he's all in. If he's at church, I'm sure he's all in. He goes to
Yeah.
church every Sunday. He's all in. If he's doing something for charity, he's all
He
in.
doesn't half-ass a damn thing.
Right. And he just is so passionate about everything that he does. He
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of Justin Magistro in that aspect.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could
Everything
totally
he
see
does.
that.
Another great
Yeah.
Italian guy.
Yeah, another
But
great
just-
Italian coach.
Yes. But just everything he does is, it like you said, he doesn't half-ass anything. If he's going to show up and do something, he's going to do it.
Okay, so take a step back. Let's talk about Justin Magistro.
What do you want to talk about him?
We just need an intro to who he is as a person and, how
Justin
we know him.
Justin was my AAU coach for, I don't know, 6 years or something.
Probably, yeah.
And just, he's another one of those people that just like you start a
That was
relationship with
the
them.
Penn Ohio Blue Storm.
Yeah. That's another guy that you just start a relationship with. And then from there, he's like your family. His family
He's
becomes your
absolutely
family.
become family.
Like they used to show up to parties at our house at 11:30 at night.
Oh, they were the last people to arrive, and they were there all night.
We'll be there by 6:00. All right, cool. And then it's 10:00 and they're not there. And then he calls me at 11:30. Hey, we'll be there in 20 minutes. Are you guys still hanging out?
His youngest daughter was like 4 or 5 years old, and they're showing up at 11 o'clock
And half
to
the
party.
time I was already in bed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, he's just, I mean, this guy just has a passion for life. And like,
And he's one of the most knowledgeable people you will know in Western Pennsylvania basketball.
and you know what the cool thing is? Like he lived that every day. It wasn't fake.
Not at all.
Like I'd go to his camps when I was a kid and then I'd coach his camps and it was consistent from the time I was going to them at 12 years old until the time I couldn't coach them anymore at 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year he'd give a talk to all the players and okay, when you wake up in the morning, who's left-handed? And like 6 people in the gym that were left-handed would raise their hand. Brush your teeth tomorrow morning with your right hand. Learn to do both, right? And he would just, and then if you go home tonight and you didn't do a good deed, go to the local gas station and buy somebody a cup of
remember that
coffee.
one.
He would tell every fucking person he met to go and just buy somebody a cup of coffee.
I remember him saying, "Go do a good deed every day."
And he would, and it wasn't look at me. It was
No, it was
Him-
go out there and do
be a
something
human.
for humanity.
go be a human.
Don't do it for what you get out of it. Go do it for the betterment of
And he would say
society.
if he would lay down to go to bed at night and he didn't do a good deed that day, he'd get out of his bed and go buy a homeless guy a
Didn't
cup
he
of
take
coffee.
his whole family like to the homeless
Every
shelters?
year on Thanksgiving, they go.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Every year
Yep.
since I've known them. Every year. His oldest kid's got to be 26 by now.
Yeah.
Drew's 26.
He's well, maybe not that old. 24, 25. I don't know.
And he doesn't do it for the cameras like a lot of
No.
people. He just does
Right.
it.
No, he does it because he is a good,
And
good
and he
person.
doesn't say anything about it. The only reason we know him very well, so that's why we know that
We've known him.
Right.
When did you start playing for him?
I was 12, I think.
So we've known him
for
20
42
years.
years. Yep, 42 years.
My AAU program that I was involved in at the time was shutting down.
Yeah.
And we met him. I remember when we met him at Family First. I had just finished a game. He came up to me and said, "Hey, Beth, I want you to meet somebody." I'm like, "Okay." And he introduces me to this guy. And he's like, "Yeah, we want you to come play for us. We were watching you play. We want you to come play for us." I'm like, whatever. Like, I wasn't old enough to make a decision. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
like,
all you ever wanted to do.
and like the dude seemed cool. So I'm like, all right, let's go. And then, I mean, I was just immersed in it. I mean, he'd have people over and do private lessons and stuff. They had like a half court in the
I
backyard.
used to take you when I could drive before you could. I would take you to private lessons, once or twice a week?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, for a while. And I loved it. Like, I'm sitting there watching you guys, and I just loved it.
Yeah, and he just had the
just
same.
enjoyed it, yeah.
And,
He
and
just
Vicky
says-
was amazing. Like, Vicky was always, like, coming out to talk to me and just, like, keeping
Yeah.
me company while Justin was teaching you. His wife's
He's one of
freaking
those people
amazing.
that never had a bad day that anybody knows about,
Yeah.
Exactly.
which I think is awesome. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I didn't mean to get too
No,
far off
but
topic.
we had to talk about Justin.
But Pat Narduzzi is the same way.
Yes.
He could be going to watch a play somewhere and he'd probably be just as enthusiastic as he is everywhere else. He's a little stubborn like us, which is fine.
I mean,
Testadora.
he acts like we do at Sunday dinner.
Testadora.
I mean, it's just like, and he acts like,
Hard-headed is in the blood.
yeah, he acts like that with the press, and the press, the press who's,
They don't understand us.
They don't
No,
understand
it's
us
their
at all.
job to overanalyze everything.
yeah. But they also don't understand. I mean, they're really big on, people that just don't ruffle any feathers. And
Yeah,
I mean, that's not him.
no,
I mean, he says what he thinks, and he thinks what he says. And
that's what we like about him.
yeah, that is.
No, I love the fact that the first thing, like, he's honest and
Yeah.
he speaks his mind. I love that. I love somebody that's not holding something back and they're going to tell you what they think.
And he brought his Italian mother to Piazza Talarico
Yep.
after the spring game.
After the spring game. Oh my God, that was the best. Your phone was on the counter and I come running. I'm like,
Calm down a little bit.
I'm just talking my normal rate. I'm sorry. Anyway, your phone starts ringing and you had
No, I
saved
just
his
mean
number.
just don't over exaggerate the story. Go on.
Oh, I thought you said I was yelling. Okay. No, like I was like, dude, Pat Narduzzi is calling you.
Yeah, he wanted to bring his mom for
what?
dinner.
Like Grandpa Frank, I bet you he doesn't have a single friend in the world that he hasn't had a fight with.
Probably not.
No, and I mean, that's just the way we are. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And some people, they get in a fight with me and they hate me for life. But it's like
Tough
fuck 'em.
shit.
one guy was telling me that, and they said you should come to Sunday dinner with me sometime. I got a lot of problems with you people.
Now you're
Frank
gonna hear about him.
Costanza.
Do we? Okay. So, what else about Pat Narduzzi? Or are we good on that one?
Oh, we should tell the story about Jimmy.
Oh my God, that's the best story.
I think it was after the spring game when he came in.
It was after the spring game when
And
he
we
brought
had-
his mother and his wife.
We had greens and beans on the menu, and Pat just ordered stuff for
The table.
the table.
Yeah.
So Coach Deuce says, "Hey Beth, we're ready to order." I'm like, "All right, what's up?" He's like, we'll take an order of fried zucchini, greens and beans. They got like pizza of some kind, and they got a macaroni dish of some kind. So I'm like, all right, we'll bring you guys some bread, and we'll bring you out zucchini and the greens and beans. So Jimmy and Marissa were at the restaurant that day.
Jimmy would have been, what, 12?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And first of all, we told Coach Dews that their mom went to Penn State. So he's like, can I take a picture with the kids? Can we send it to their mom?
That was the best.
Yeah, so they go behind the counter like, it's a great picture.
And
So
Jimmy's a little asshole, so he was loving it.
yeah, he
too.
was like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
let's
he
do
was
it.
absolutely loving it.
So I was like, guys, we have food up. And then Jimmy comes in. He's like, what can I run? And I'm like, all right, the beans and greens go to Coach. He goes, okay. So, and I was following him with the zucchini or bread or whatever. And Jimmy walks out and he goes, and he's got one thing in one hand and one thing in the other hand. And he's like, here's your water and here's the hot lettuce thing.
Coach laughed so hard.
Dude looks at his mom and goes, hot lettuce thing? You want some? He just starts laughing. And Jimmy walks in the kitchen. He's like, what? I'm like, beans and greens. He goes, oh, it looks like hot lettuce. I'm like, it's scuttle, Jim.
He should know he's more Italian than us.
Dude's got a huge kick out of that.
I was
His mom probably made him that every friggin' Thursday night when he was growing up.
probably.
But anyway, all right.
Honorable mention. Other Italians that have played for Pitt. Dom DeSico.
Carlo D'Orazio.
Carlo D'Orazio. Pitt
There
basketball.
was another one. What the hell was his name?
There was another one. There was another Italian that played for
No,
Pitt.
on the same
Oh,
team.
on the same team. Okay.
Yeah. That was back in the. We should call Ontario and ask him.
Yeah.
He would know.
Do you guys want to talk about other Italian Americans in college sports?
Like who?
Dickie V.
Well, Papa Joe has a problem with the way he pronounces his name.
Yeah, Dickie V. I mean, great guy. I mean, he's the very typical Italian American, except that he Americanized his last name. It's not fucking Vital. It's Vitali.
We have to be nice. He has
It's
cancer
Vitale.
for like the third
Dad.
time.
Vitale. You're wrong.
Vitale.
Vitale.
We do love
But
him.
he's a great guy. The girls actually had their picture taken with him.
We did.
Yep.
He was so nice to them.
I was wearing a pink hat, and I don't wear pink. I don't know
Well,
where the fuck I got
Yeah,
that
you
pink
do,
hat.
apparently.
Apparently, because in that picture I'm wearing a pink hat. I don't wear fucking pink. Other famous Italian Americans in college. Let's go with college basketball. Tony Bennett, the
Not the singer.
coach, not the singer.
The stud.
Beth, today Dad and I were making the list, and he goes, Tony Bennett, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It
You're
took
like-
me a minute.
You're like,
I was like, we're not talking about.
piano's not a sport.
I was like, we're not talking about. Oh.
One of the high points of Beth's life is when she went and fed the University of Virginia team and got her picture taken with Tony Bennett.
He never did text me, but I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Oh, he had your number?
Well, I gave him my business card. I taped it in the
Yeah.
inside of his pizza box.
Oh, I forgot
And,
about
and
that.
the other and the other thing, he's another guy that everybody that knows him says he's just, nobody has.
Oh, and you
anything
brought
bad to
Trish
say
with
about
you.
him.
She had a blast.
Yeah, dude, he didn't know us from Adam. So we brought Trish that worked at Enrico's with us.
She helped us
She's
cater.
a huge college basketball fan, so she always would tell us like, hey, if you need a cookie tray for any of these teams, let us know. So we did
Whatever you need. Yeah.
we did a couple of like collaborations with them for like
We did.
softball or whatever. But I texted her the one night and I was like, hey, you can't tell anybody because it's like I'm trying to keep it low key. I'm trying to like just keep this to like bare minimum here. But I was like, we're feeding Virginia basketball tomorrow, and she was like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, like Tony Bennett. And she's like, oh, do you need a cookie tray? And I was like, well, do you just want to come? I was like, you can come deliver with me. Like, and she's like, okay. She's like, oh my God. She's like losing her mind.
Oh, she was so excited.
So I'm like, yeah, like, nope, like, let's do it. So she's like, all right, I'll come and help do whatever, help package stuff. And I'm like, Trish, like, if you just want to show up just to deliver, I'm fine with that. You can come help if you want. And sure as shit, she did. I mean, she showed up 2 hours early. She's helping us individually package stuff and whatever. So we get over to the Pete and we go into the loading dock. And if you say you're with catering, you got the red bags. You get in.
That's you. You literally own that place.
I know
You told me
everybody,
that
yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah,
You told me yesterday, you go, I own that
I should.
place. Because you can walk into the Pete and every single person's going to go, hey, Beth.
I should own the Pete. I put enough time in. Anyway.
At this point, yes.
So we go in, the whole team comes out, we hand everybody their bags, and then I was like, hey, like, I just really would like to meet Coach Bennett. And like the student like managers and stuff were like, yeah, come on in. So they brought me into the loading dock, which I was already allowed in, but that's not the point. And then so we were just standing there and everybody's like, they're waiting to meet Coach Bennett. They're fine. Let them go. So he comes out and I handed him a bottle of wine and I was like, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself real quick. My name's Beth. We did all your catering. And he's like, oh, thank you so much. And he was like, oh, Papa Joe's Wine Cellar, where's this at? And then we just started talking and his grandfather's from McKees Rocks. His real name's Benedito or Benito.
Benedetto, probably.
Something like that.
That's what Tony Bennett, the singer, is.
Well, you can't like Google it and find it though.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming it's probably Benedetto.
he told me, and I just can't remember which. It's something like that. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure my grandfather got kicked out of all the card clubs in McKees Rocks." And I was like, "Oh, my dad has stories about that from like my family." And the guy stood there and talked to us for 5 minutes. I mean, he was awesome. And
the team's loading up. And that's great.
Everybody else is out of the building. They're waiting for him.
And he's talking to you guys.
Yeah, he's another one of those people that just makes you feel like you're just the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
And he is wonderful to look at.
Yes, he is.
Anyway.
And one of my favorites.
Thank you for giving me my time.
Even though he's fallen from grace over the past couple of years, one of my favorites of all time is Rick Pitino.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Only problem now, I can't look at a red and white tablecloth without thinking of Rick Pitino, but that's a different story altogether. But I mean, this guy was a great coach.
I'm so glad I did not just drink that wine because, like, as soon as I knew that was coming out of your mouth, I was like, "This is gonna end up right back in my glass."
You shouldn't have even tried to drink.
I can't even take credit for that. You know who told me that one time? Adam Slivka told me.
I remember that.
Yeah, Adam told me that.
Of course.
Didn't you have a checkered shirt on, and he told you?
Could be something like that.
God.
Never mind. We'll
we're gonna stop there. We're gonna stop there.
These people choose to listen to us. But
these
whatever.
these poor people. So. Did we mention Joe Torre?
No, we didn't.
Mr. T.
I can't believe, I just saw his name on my list, and I was like, Jesus Christ, we forgot to mention Joe Torre.
Mr. T. That's what.
Yep.
All right,
Derek
so we're
Jeter
going to
called
back
him.
up for a second and go back to Joe Torre and the Yankees.
Yeah.
You guys talk about Joe Torre because you guys are the Yankees
He always
fans.
played in the National League. He was not an American League player. He played with the Braves, Cardinals, and the Mets. But he's best known, obviously, as Yankees manager from 96 to 2007, won 4 World Series.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times did Joe Steimer or
He didn't get fired. He retired, and then
George Steimer?
He
call him
retired.
Joe.
He took a year off, and then he went and managed the Dodgers for a couple years.
Okay, I
And then
remember
after
there
that,
being
he
a break.
became an executive with MLB.
Yes.
I remember there being a break, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if George Steinbrenner had fired him or not.
And I am also convinced that he became one of the guys on the speaker at LAX. Remember when I used to say that?
Yes.
There was how there's
Every
like
time we would go see Matt in Hawaii.
well, at airports, how every 15 minutes there's if you see any suspicious packages, there's this whole spiel for 30 seconds.
Announcements, yeah.
Every time I heard it, I'm like, God damn it, that sounds like Joe Torre. And he was managing the.
I bet it was.
At the time, it
wouldn't
probably
be-
would have been
I would not
him,
be
yeah.
surprised.
I was like, God, there's Joe Torre again, because we had many layovers there. But yeah, Derek Jeter always called him Mr. T.
Okay, so anyway, let's tie up a few loose
Wait.
ends.
One more. This is back to college basketball. Diana Taurasi.
Okay.
Beth, you were a fan.
Oh, of course I was.
When you were a teenager.
Well, I mean, you can tie this to Gino Auriemma. Is he
Yeah,
on the
and
list?
he's not in
and
here.
he's
but
not on our
Gino-
list.
Gino-
I don't know how.
Who the fuck made
He
this
should have been
list?
on our list.
Wikipedia made our list. I'm sorry.
Limited space. Oh, let's wind it up quickly because we're running out of space on our SD
I
card.
don't know how limited that would be, but
But that's okay. We'll keep going until we run out.
It's okay. We can talk about hockey another time.
Yeah.
Or
It looks like we have 13 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
cool. So I can mention John Tortorella.
Oh, we have to mention John
But
Tortorella.
okay. Do we want to say anything about Gino Auriemma?
Okay, wait, real quick. I want to say that Joe Torre did not inherit World Series teams. Brian Cashman did. Anyway,
Boom.
Okay.
I can go into that another time. No, just growing up as a girls basketball player, obviously Pitt was always my favorite, but
I used to mess with you though. Well, not mess with you, but I used to say, dude, like your dream was always Pitt, but I used to say, you're telling me if you were recruited by UConn, you wouldn't go to UConn, and you'd like hesitate for a minute, and you're like, no, I'd go to Pitt. I'm like, come on, bitch.
I always wanted to be like the hometown hero, but then I couldn't play defense.
But
because
here's the thing.
Dad's fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Dad's fast, but mom is not.
Yeah, but she's the one that complains about how I run.
Yeah.
She is the one that complains about how you run. But what I'm saying is,
the world's slowest human complains about how you run. Okay, we got it.
Yep.
yep.
But yeah, I just know I always.
Gino Auriemma's book might be one of the few you've actually finished.
Yeah, I read Derek Jeter's book. There was about 4 books. I've ever
there was
finished.
one you stopped like 4 chapters from the end. Was it Gino Auriemma's or was it Derek Jeter's?
I don't remember.
It was one or the other one. But I remember there have been very few books you've actually read to the conclusion. And I think Gino Auriemma's was it.
I think you read a few of Dante's books.
Gino Auriemma won fucking everything.
Yeah.
Dude, Dante's books are hard to read. I'm just
Do you
saying.
ever
I love
wonder?
them,
No, listen. Do you ever wonder how Gino Auriemma just wakes up in the morning? Like, don't you think eventually you'd just be like,
I've done everything I have to
oh,
do.
yeah, I mean,
Like-
1,000 times.
Oh my God. He's not a bad looking dude either.
I don't like to lose, but I think eventually I'd just be like, dude, I've won so many fucking times. Y'all can kiss my ass. I'm going to go count my money now.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean,
No,
the dude
no,
is
no.
a fucking
No.
legend.
Okay.
He's, in my opinion, Gino Auriemma is like a top 3 basketball coach of all time, and he's not number 3.
Yeah.
Name your top.
I mean, I have a couple.
You
I
can't
mean,
do it. You can't name them.
John Wooden was good, but again, the game was different back then.
Yeah.
I mean, did John Wooden coach when there was a 3-point line?
No.
Exactly.
When wasn't there a 3-point line?
Oh, Jesus.
Are you kidding? There's only been a 3-point line since like 85.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or
okay.
90 maybe.
Okay.
90.
Okay. So
And
my
actually-
in my lifetime. Okay. Okay.
And actually, for
I
a long
have
long
not seen
time,
shit
you couldn't
before that.
dunk.
Yeah.
What?
They outlawed the dunk, and then they brought it back because people liked it.
Beth, you forget that I watch basketball because
Yeah.
you got me into it.
And didn't the NBA not let people play zone?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, dude.
I'm learning so
you,
much.
You think football's different?
I am
Basketball's
learning
different.
so much.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Okay. So we need to wrap this up quickly
We're
because
fine. We still have 12 minutes.
do we?
Yeah, it went up to 14 and then it started going down again.
Okay.
We're
Well,
fine.
let's get a little bit into hockey.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's
so
do that.
we have a couple of Penguins. We got Bonino,
Tom Barrasso.
Bonino,
Tom Barrasso.
Bonino.
Rob Scuderi.
The piece. That's what they always call him, the piece.
I know. I was waiting for you to add more.
Oh, John Tortorella? He stinks
Oh.
on the power play.
My favorite. Oh my God.
Oh.
My
Carl
John
Hagelin did just
Tortorella.
retire. Did you guys know that?
What's that?
Carl
I did.
Hagelin just retired.
Did he?
I did.
I think Hornquist retired too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
okay.
they're
Yes.
best friends. They probably couldn't do it alone.
John Tortorella is seriously my favorite coach in hockey of all time. Like, I freaking love this man.
He's like Doozy on steroids.
He's the most entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, we regularly will pull up his press conferences on YouTube when Beth and I are drinking and just watch them for
He's
these.
such an
like,
asshole, and I love it.
Oh my God, it's so funny. Like, when he was talking shit on the Penguins, I wasn't even mad. Like, when he's talking about our whiny, like, captain and all this shit, I'm laughing my ass off the entire time that he's calling Crosby a whiny baby. Like, he's just hilarious. He speaks his mind like
Not like
Italians
they're
do.
superstars over there. They're whiners.
Yeah. They're whiny
Crybabies.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Whiners.
He stinks on the
Whiners.
power play is still my favorite. Like, we've talked about it, and I don't know why he stinks. He just stinks. Like
I've asked him, why do you stink on the power play? He doesn't know.
That was Carl Hagelin when he played
That
for
was
John
when he
Tortorella.
played for him in New York.
Yeah.
When he played for him
Yeah.
on the Rangers. He's like, I've asked him why he stinks on the power play. We don't know. That was the funny. Oh my God, his videos. There was the one. It was a fight between them and I think Vancouver. Was it Vancouver? Where
No, it was when he coached for Vancouver.
It was when he coached for Vancouver.
He got in a fight with the Senators bench.
That's
he was
what
like
it was.
standing on the board
He was
screaming
standing
at them.
on the board screaming over the board.
Yeah, tell me that's not an Italian.
Yeah.
That was the most entertaining. Like, I was watching that game live and laughing my ass off. I was like, this is the most entertaining thing I've ever seen in my life.
And I mean, I think that brings us down to why Italian Americans like Italian American athletes.
Because they're hotheads.
Because they're like us.
They're hot-headed
Yeah.
assholes.
No matter how famous they get, no matter how good they get, no matter how accomplished they get, they're still assholes.
They
like
just
we
want
are.
to fucking win.
One more honorable mention. Mike Eruzione.
I thought you were going to say Beth Talarico.
Yep.
You were a great Italian American athlete, Beth.
In
Six
sixth grade,
three-pointers.
I was like the greatest player on
Six
on planet
three-pointers
Earth.
in one game.
I was like the best sixth grader that ever lived at one point.
What's the name of this little church? Grace Church?
Grace Church.
Grace Church here in Harmony.
In front of 10,000 fans.
10 fans. 10 fans.
10,000
Playing
fans.
for
10
St.
fans.
Gregory's.
I almost killed an old guy because I made so many three-pointers.
This ref was going nuts. He almost like fell over every time he'd throw up his
The
hands.
ref and Jerry. Remember Jerry, the old
I
man?
forgot about Jerry.
Jerry was
Jerry.
this old man that he was like the custodian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would go in early and open up the gym and sweep the floor and whatever. And then he would stay and I mean, he just loved it when we were there playing basketball.
You know what I love?
Not even your own coach could ice you that day.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I love? The fact that we mentioned Mike Eruzione and then fade right into your biggest accomplishment in sports and completely like plow over the U.S. Olympic team
Beating
in
the
90s.
Soviets in
Miracle
1980.
Ice.
That we just like completely plowed over.
Yeah.
Like
Beth
Beth's
is in-
accomplishment is so much bigger.
The miracle on hardwood.
Yeah.
The miracle in harmony.
The Miracle at Grace Church, Harmony,
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Circa 2004.
Probably. How old are you in sixth grade? 11?
About that probably.
Yeah, 11.
2005?
Okay.
No, 2003?
3. Yeah, 3.
2003?
So 2003.
All right, sorry.
No, we're
Mike
good.
Eruzione, go ahead.
All right. So anyway, it's my bedtime.
Okay, sorry, Mike Eruzione. Great job in the Miracle on Ice.
That's
we're
what
going to bed.
we're gonna name this episode. Sorry, Mike Eruzione.
Sorry, Mike Eruzione. Best accomplishments are better.
And Papa Joe has to go to bed.
6 3-pointers, sixth grade.
It is 9:45, Dad, and we have to be in the garage.
And I
tomorrow
also
pretty
played
early.
on the worst team in the history of the fucking world. Not the 2007 Pitt Panthers, according to their long snapper at West Virginia. When Pitt beat West Virginia to keep them out of the national championship in 2007, their long snapper, I can't remember what the fuck his name was because they lost.
Wait, oh my God, where's the Christmas card?
Oh, it's in a box somewhere. They'd have to have it. They have to.
Oh my God.
They have to.
We still have the Christmas card.
16 years old. They can't lose it.
They damn well, but if Mom loses it,
13-9.
13-9. But
we have. Hold on, I need to tell people this.
Okay.
We still have the Christmas card from Pitt Athletics, the year that Pitt beat West Virginia.
and next time we'll put it
13-9.
on the camera. But
Yes.
I wasn't done.
Sorry.
The long snapper for West Virginia went to the press room and he said, "We just lost to the worst team in the history of the fucking world." He probably wasn't wrong.
We were pretty bad.
we were 4-6 going in. No, 3-7 going. No, 4-7 going into that game, and we won. And they didn't go to the BCS national championship game. There's a video of a dude in the stands just dropping his New Orleans sign, and it like makes me so happy. I should like set that as my like alarm clock in the morning when I look at my phone to hit snooze.
Oh, you mean not
It should
the
be that dude dropping his
it's-
fucking national championship sign.
It's-
Gotta have
That
a
would get me
little
going.
It's no longer the it's whatever o'clock and
I got some.
and Penn State still sucks background.
No, it's gonna be that dude dropping his sign. What are we cheersing to?
We're done.
Oh,
Cheers.
Are we done?
sure.
What else do you have to say? Anything?
No.
Okay, well, we're done then. Salute.
Wait, who's the best athlete we talked about tonight? Me.
John Tortorella.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah, probably you.
Yeah, fuck Yogi Berra, right?
Yeah, you just moved your feet funny.
There's your title. Fuck Yogi Berra. It's Beth.
Yeah, from me. People will believe that
Salute,
shit.
we're out.
Gentani.
Salute.
Papa Joe's got to go to bed.